Yu Miji and Yu Mirai were identical twins, born under a sky filled with stars, their names chosen by their father while their mother was still in shock from the pregnancy news. He named them Miji and Mirai, meaning unknown and future, hoping their lives would shine brightly like the two little stars he saw on the ultrasound screen. Although their appearances were almost impossible to tell apart, even fooling their own mother at times, the two girls were starkly different on the inside. As young girls, Miji and Mirai shared everything, their meals, secrets, and dreams. Their bond was unbreakable. Mirai was a math genius who could solve equations far beyond her grade, while Miji struggled even with multiplication. Miji, however, had something her sister lacked: strong health and endless curiosity. When Mirai hated taking traditional medicine, Miji stepped in and took it for her. When Miji found math overwhelming, Mirai stepped in and helped. They invented a secret promise: whenever one found something too difficult, the other would step in, sealed with a pinky swear. This promise became their private cheat code. Mirai would take Miji's spot in music class and blow the recorder, while Miji would climb monkey bars in gym class for Mirai. Their childhood was filled with innocent mischief and warm support. Their father, their closest friend, understood each of them better than anyone else. He spent more time with them than their busy mother ever could, becoming their pillar of support. He even knew their favorite candy flavors by heart. But time moved forward, and so did their lives. As they entered elementary school, their personalities continued to grow apart. Mirai kept excelling in academics, constantly placing first in school. Miji, on the other hand, remained average, or so she thought. One day, while being the first student to arrive at the school cafeteria again, as usual, a gym teacher noticed her. He saw something others hadn't: a spark, a purpose. "Your life is meant to run," he told her. Those words changed her world. Suddenly, Miji had a goal, a passion, and a talent: running. She ran like the wind and began winning medals, finally stepping out of her sister's shadow. For the first time, she wasn't just Mirai's sister, but Yu Miji, the rising track star. Her face lit up in interviews, her name was chanted by schoolmates. She tasted recognition, freedom, and a future where she mattered. But joy can be fleeting. A serious injury ended her athletic career prematurely, just as her potential was being recognized. The praise stopped. The headlines disappeared. And again, Miji became just Mirai's sister in people's eyes. The childhood promise that once gave them strength had now become a memory. The bond between the twins, once warm and vibrant, began to fade as their lives diverged. They rarely spoke anymore. Miji resented the constant comparisons, while Mirai became buried in her career. The story of Miji and Mirai began with shared laughter and pinky swears. But like many childhood promises, theirs would be tested by the reality of growing up. Yu Miji and Yu Mirai's lives had grown increasingly separate. Mirai, now a perfectionist in every way, worked for a prestigious state-owned company in Seoul. She was always neat, composed, and distant. Miji, in contrast, was floating between part-time jobs and seasonal work, often misunderstood by her mother and others as someone without direction. Though Miji worked hard wherever she went, her efforts were rarely acknowledged. Her mother frequently scolded her for not having a real job and expressed fear that Miji might end up being a burden to her more successful sister. This recurring conflict widened the gap between mother and daughter. Meanwhile, Mirai, once so close to her sister, barely returned her messages. The twins, once inseparable, had now become strangers who happened to share a face. One day, their mother asked Miji to deliver food to their elderly neighbor, who happened to be Lee Ho-sus's mother. Miji had no idea Ho-soo would be home. She hadn't seen him in years, not since high school. As she turned to leave, Ho-soo appeared at the gate and surprised her. But instead of catching up with Miji, Ho-soo asked about Mireille. Hurt and unwilling to talk about her sister, Miji avoided the question and rushed away. Back in their high school years, Miji had known Ho-soo, albeit not well. She later learned through Mireille that Ho-soo had been in a serious car accident that left him with a prosthetic leg, hearing loss in one ear, and severe burn scars. Miji had once mocked him unknowingly, calling him names before learning the truth. The guilt never left her. Later, Miji ran into Ho-soo again. This time, he apologized for the earlier misunderstanding and clarified that he asked about Mireille because he recently saw her in Seoul. Mireille had looked exhausted and disappeared the moment she saw him. That moment troubled him. Ho-soo revealed that Mireille always felt most comfortable being vulnerable only around Miji. She said you were the only one she could be honest with, he told Miji. Miji brushed it off, claiming that was only true when they were children. Now, we barely talk, she said. But if even someone like me could become close to you, I'm sure she can too. Eventually, Miji went to Seoul, delivering food to Mireille herself. She found Mireille sneaking out of the office during work hours. They went to a nearby restaurant and, for the first time in years, shared a quiet meal. Mireille confessed she was envious of Miji's freedom. She expressed thoughts of leaving her job, even joked about jumping off the second floor with a blanket to land safely. Miji laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But when she returned from the restroom and found Mireille gone, panic set in. Rushing to Mireille's apartment, she arrived just in time to stop her from falling. They collapsed together onto the ground, both unharmed. Miji clutched her sister tightly, tears flowing. "Don't ever do that again. I can't lose you." "I'm sorry," Mireille whispered. "I didn't mean to make you cry." The sisters sat in silence, wrapped in each other's arms. Years of distance melted away in a single moment. Miji couldn't shake off the fear of losing her sister. The image of Mireille standing on that ledge haunted her. It was clear that Mireille's life, though polished and successful on the outside, was crumbling within. So, Miji made a decision. She would take Mireille's place, just like they used to do in childhood. "Don't worry about anything," Miji told Mireille. "Let me handle it for a while. Just rest." Mireille hesitated at first but finally agreed. Thus began the secret switch. Miji started living as Mireille, going to her apartment, commuting to her job, and showing up at the company as if she had always belonged there. With Mireille's professional appearance and demeanor studied carefully, Miji managed to blend in. Though it was hard, she pushed through every unfamiliar challenge with courage and determination. The real Mireille took refuge in the countryside, staying in their hometown to recover. Their mother, unaware of the switch, assumed Mireille had taken a short break and Miji was continuing her usual odd jobs. Meanwhile, in the company, Miji began to notice things Mireille never talked about. Her superior was cold and dismissive. Colleagues whispered behind backs. Most painfully, she discovered her sister's mentor had resigned due to workplace bullying after reporting corruption in the department. That mentor, Kim Soo-yeon, had once inspired Mireille to believe in her career path. Miji struggled to maintain the illusion. She had no real experience in corporate environments and barely understood the jargon. But each time she felt like quitting, she remembered her sister's broken voice and exhausted eyes. Miji realized just how much pressure Mireille had been under, responsibilities, debts, expectations, and she vowed not to let her down. Ho-soo, curious about Mi Ray's behavior, attempted to meet her again. When he finally ran into Miji, posing as Mi Ray, he sensed something had changed. There was a softness in her eyes, a difference in the way she spoke. He asked gently, "Are you really okay?" Miji avoided eye contact. "Of course. Just tired." He paused. "You know, I liked talking to Miji more. She had this fire in her. Even when she tried to act tough, you could see how much she cared." Miji's heart skipped. She smiled faintly. "She's not so bad." Later that night, she called Mi Ray. "You don't have to hide anymore. I'm here for you. We'll get through this together." "I'm scared," Mi Ray admitted. "I don't think I can go back." "Then I'll stay until you can," Miji replied. "We're in this together, remember?" Their old promise, the pinky swear, was reborn. The bond they thought had disappeared was slowly finding its way back. They didn't need to be perfect, just present for one another. In an act of love, Miji chose to live her sister's life not because she had to, but because she wanted to. And through this exchange, both sisters began to understand each other more deeply than ever before.